Welcome, Armchair Generals. This is Tom with another exciting Japanese episode of my Hearts of Iron 3 campaign using the Black Ice modification version 10.43. It's just a continuation of my playthrough already, so I didn't have to save the game real quick just to make sure that we didn't crash or anything of that sort. Kind of went through a rundown of the end of last episode, but I'll do it quickly here so that everybody can kind of catch up to where I am overall in this campaign. Not looking too great for the Italians. Abyssinia, they're kind of holding, but I still expect Abyssinia to fall eventually. Libya, yeah, that's a lot of no right there. And Eastern Front, after a very initial week of a misstep because the German forces were largely down in Yugoslavia and Greece before the war with Russia, they actually Russia or Germany started doing very well against Russia. They've gotten Leningrad surrounded, Finland in the game here, and they were pushing quite deeply into the southeast portion here. But there's been some reversals recently. I thought the Germans would try to get up to this river here and maybe try to come down here, but no, the Russians have been pushing them back at this point here at this stage of the game. The northern sector is doing okay. They're pushing still, but we're not anywhere near close to Moscow. Uh, yeah, we're still half a dozen provinces away from Moscow, far away from Stalingrad. So next year we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on here. I'm not too concerned with this kind of moving back. I've seen it before where Russia's pushed Germany back into towards Poland, for example. But then when spring, May hits and Germany gets a reinvestiture of troops and reinforcement, things like that, Germany ended up conquering the Soviet Union in 42. So I'm not terribly concerned, but this is something to keep an eye on. We complete our conquest of Xinjiang as a last hurrah, thanking them for all that time we got to spend surrounding their capital and keeping war status so we can maintain our IC production queue going. The 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 conflict in the Philippines is going pretty well. We had a southern landing that went off without a hitch because there's nobody there. The beach was wide open, so the Marines kind of poured out a little bit here. I landed my one corps, 5 divisions out, so they're going to be spreading out throughout this island here and get the gobble up the victory point locations they can. Got another I had a logistical error where I had 4 Marines heading to this undefended beach where I meant to only send 2, and the other 2 were to go to Wake Island. Apparently, though, I did not anticipate that situation enough to where I would have an extra landing craft fleet of 2 landing craft in it. So, unfortunately, Wake Island had to kind of wait a bit while we took care of Guam, which that was taken in just a matter of days, hours even, I think, and get our Philippines landings. I always try to do 3 landings in the Philippines, one in the south because it's not quite as defended. There's a lot of victory points here, but it's not quite as defended as the northern sector. And then 2 in the north. One here, so that way we can kind of march down through this peninsula. The other one here, so we can nudge right up against the capital pretty quickly. This is actually going. This went better than this landing here. We do have a Marine coming in for that landing that still hasn't been completed yet. I've got a couple of headquarter units that are not looking all that great, kind of shaky, um, but the Marines will be coming pretty soon. The Army is going to be landing on our northern beachhead here very soon, and we'll start pouring down southward from there. Um, we've had a couple of naval battles, sunk about half a dozen subs, American subs out here. Not really had much of anything else in this area or even in the southern islands of any import. But because we focused a lot of our energy around Wake, with the anticipation that we'd be landing on Wake as well, which in retrospect probably is a good thing now that that didn't occur. We've encountered quite a bit of resistance. We've ran into about half a dozen American carriers. Lexington, Saratoga got badly damaged, got ravaged. Um, uh, we lost in turn the Chichos, a light carrier, but otherwise our carrier groups are doing okay. We can see here the Chichos was lost out of, or was it Chichos? Maybe it was the other. Uh, um, the other CH carrier that was lost. And I really need to name these two so I have a better idea. In fact, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Chitios and the Mitsuo. Chitios and Mitsuo. We're just going to say Chitios and Mitsuo. Mitsuho. There we go. I like to see when there's an air combat going on, or when I'm bombing enemy fleet. It'll show me the CAGs involved. And I like to see which fleet they're from. That way, I have a good idea of what's going on in the overall the battle area here. Um, Not sure why these guys are just kind of hovering around the way they are. The Kaga and the Kagi are nearby. Yeah, they're right there. Interesting. Okay. But anyway, my carrier groups for the most part still are in great shape. Kaga, as you can see, looking good. Um, Other than the loss of the other CH lake carrier, looking good. Um, this lake carrier group, looking great. I think that's it. I had a carrier group here, Soryu and Hiryu. I thought I told them they're going up. Yeah, I thought I told these guys to come up here and patrol. Oh, yeah, you know what? I actually have to I have to tell them, give them a move order and then patrol. Because they're stuck on a patrol order, so they're just going to keep doing their patrol down here. But if I tell them to come up here and then say patrol, they'll go up there and patrol. So I got another carrier group going up here, and the Zukaku Shikaku is also getting involved here. So there'll be 5 carrier groups, 2 light, 3 regular in this area here. Needs to be what is that, 6, 8, 11 carriers total. Needs to be, because there's at least a half dozen American carriers that we've run into in this area here, so we need to take care of that. I don't have any other carriers I'm able to use. Oh, these guys I kind of need to group together, though we're probably using these as reinforcements because we got some ships, some fleets heading back with their tail between their legs, as it were. I mean, not really. I mean, it's like, yeah, we lost a couple of destroyers. Heavy cruiser got a bit beat up. Um, we lost a couple destroyers here. They got beat up as well. Yeah, a couple more destroyers got beat up. The Yamato gave a good standing showing for itself here. It didn't really. I mean, it lost some organization, sure, but not a lot. A quarter of it, sure. But it lost several destroyers, so I need to pull them back. And we lost a battle cruiser fleet, 2 battle cruisers and 5 destroyers down around in here somewheres, and also several destroyers to another fleet. I thought too, but maybe not. May just been yeah, may just been a straight out destroyer fleet that got of 7 ships that got wiped out. So we've lost more ships than the Americans have at this point. Their subs notwithstanding, I don't count that as successful lossage there. We are, however, yeah, actually I can pull. I had talked about last episode. Our supplies were spiraling because of all the movement we were doing. Our supplies were spiraling out of control. We were losing, even though I had 100 in IC, 3 times as much IC needed. I was still going down to the teens, to 11,000 or so supplies. But we're going back up appropriately. So now at this point, I can cut this way down here, and we're going to do just that. Probably go down about 80. So that way, once I hit 50,000 supplies, then I'll go and just click the needs button so it evens it out, and the rest will be thrown into production there. We're doing okay in our upgrades. It's going to be many months before we get back down to a need of 20. And honestly, I don't know if we'll ever see 20, a need for 20. It might be around at 36, may even start going up, because I got a bunch of research that's going to be happening this month and next that's going to be needed to be applied to ships. But anyway, you can see for our production what we're doing, getting some transport ships ready or transport planes ready to conjoin with one that's out here and take our paratrooper down south. There's a oil field in Palembang that we need to land on and capture before the Allies destroy it. Apparently, it's an event that happens. We've got, I think we're done with all of our upgrades. Yeah, we're at this point just simply building. We've got some tropical island units, Guam, Wake, Midway. So at this point, yeah, April's pretty good time. I don't think I'm going to be attacking Wake until January, maybe early January, and Wake probably won't be until March. That's uh, phase two. Midway is phase two. We still haven't finished phase one yet with our island attacks. Um, we got some battleship reinforcements coming along the way, which is good. I lost 2 battle cruisers, so yeah, but it'd be nice to still have them. We got a bunch of naval bombers and a flying boat, another wing kind of ready there. These I think I already have a wing set. That just needs these 2 guys, and that'll get me up to 6, 7 wings, something like that, of naval bombers, which they've been pretty handy from what I've seen so far. They've helped out. They're definitely helped out what we need them for. We have a carrier group that will be ready by spring, by let's say early summer, because by the time Hayo is finished, it'll take a month before its organization gets up to where it needs to be, and I'm confident in its ability to sail out and start getting involved. This will probably be sent south to here to start taking on the British. We've got a light carrier group that'll be ready next month. Probably February, it'll be ready, and I'll again send them down, get them ready in here as well, because the British will have a carrier group and some ships. We excuse me, just threw a whole bunch of IC into production, so we're going to go deep into here. Hopefully, we'll get this next carrier group being start worked on as well. But you can see we've got a bunch of things that need to get built here. Ton of things. Not enough IC to do it. Speaking of research, make sure we're okay here. Excuse me. We are indeed, our descent is going down. That's good. We're gaining about 45 new officers a day. We're actually going up in our ratio and our percentage. As I said a few episodes ago, I wanted to hit about 100% in regards to the officer ratio. The research that we just did regarding officer recruitment program 2 got us 20,000 officers. So that got us just up to 100%. But then we had a bunch of historical units that came in. You can see the unit spawn penalties. Well, actually, I had one drop off. But you can see the unit spawn penalties. A bunch of historical units came in, wrecked my ratio, knocked it down to 91, 92, something like that. We've gotten it back up, so we're okay there, I think. Pardon me, my throat is dry. But again, I want to get up to 100%, not because of all the combat that's going. Even though we lost a bunch of ships and whatnot, and we got some land battles going on. We're not really losing a lot of officers in these kind of battles. We will once the UK declares on me, and we start ramping up our land combat towards Singapore and into Burma. Yeah, we're gonna start. Our ratio is gonna be dropping, not as much as China, but it's still gonna be dropping enough that I want to make sure that my officers were doing good there. Overall, though, tech, I think we're fine. We got a bunch of tech that's coming out here this month and next. Probably about half of what I have in here is over the next 40 days. So that is good. With that said, let's go ahead and continue on here. We're waiting for this to kind of wrap up here, which looks like it might be going our way soon. And we do have a Marine unit coming down pretty soon to help out there. Yeah, we got some tech here. Port strike tactics. That's for our CAG duty efficiency. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that for right now. Naval air targeting, cancel that as well. Okay, so what do we need urgently for 1942? We really could use air, yeah, because that surface detection. So at this point, I'm going to learn, even though it's a bit of a penalty, it's only going to be a penalty for about 10 days for learning the reconnaissance aircraft, because it's a year in advance, but we're about to turn 1942 here. I already went through and gotten all the 1941 tech that I want. So at this point now, it's just determining what tech was coming up next month in the matter of a week and a half that I could use right now. Reconnaissance aircraft, because they'll help our CAG out, that surface detection, the same as our interceptors too. Let's check our ships here. Let's go with carriers first. We got some 1942 tech that I want to start investing in at this point here. Okay, that gets us down to that. CAG torpedo bomber, yes, all right. I'll let this roll, and then when we hit, we'll get to 1942. Well, as I need to get more tech, I'm just going to start going through rest of my naval stuff to continue with that. We have some IC you're wasting in reinforcements. Okay. And yes, so all the IC we dumped out of supplies and pumped into production is getting us, as I anticipated, Taiyu and Unru. 1943, it says, we'll see next month. I'll be focusing strictly on IGN for infrastructure and also build speed. I think for this year, I chose something else, and that affected our build speed for naval. End of next year. So this time next year, I'll have another light carrier group out as well. Good, good, good. I don't have another carrier group in the works, but I need this to kind of drop a bit more. I need to get a lot of this stuff built before I start putting more carrier groups in my production queue. And speaking of production queue, another CAG. I was putting the CAG here because every time I was dropping on here, it was filtering it right on a carrier. But I can move all my CAG units over here now. That we're fine. Okay. And nothing there we want to do. I don't want to revoke the Soviet-Japanese neutrality pact and that ball bearing plant. I don't know what it does for me. I feel it's something for like tanks, for vehicles. So I don't think it's gonna be something good for me. Um, and the amount of supplies and everything that gets sunk into it doesn't make me want it. And on top of that too, it will be popping into a province that has an IC industry in it. So I have a feeling it's going to remove that IC. It's in there, and I don't want it like to pop into Japan and lose 10 IC, for example, or worse, Shanghai or Seoul, where I have the heavy industry in it, and it takes that out. I don't want that. Oh, you know what? I didn't realize I wasn't paying attention to this. I need to pay attention. We're gonna let this ride because we want it. We need our CAGs need more morale. Um, all three of these need more morale, so we're gonna let that run. East Johnston Island. Is that just subs that's there? Yeah, that's all that was then. Not a big deal. We got a light cruiser. Do I have a spare light cruiser here? 245. Well, we'll just drop him off here. So I guess I got some light cruisers coming out. Well, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks, and that's a lot of IC that will, well, not terribly a lot, but it's a good bit of IC that will trickle down to here to get our Mountaineers being worked on. And again, once they hit 50,000 supplies, hit need, that's 30 more IC going in here. That's a couple more Mountaineers I'll be getting built on. Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of waiting. There, I was waiting for that here. So let's select here. He's a Marine. Let's have him kind of do that. that. Okay. So some more lane comments going. Air combat. What do we got going on here? This is off the Philippines coast. Okay, strange, but okay, we'll let that ride. Um, Zukaku and Shikaku are meeting the San Jacinto and the Bataan. And what's eastern and western flats? So these two areas are seeing combat. Kaga and Akagi are they'll be sinking those destroyers. I don't need to watch that naval battle, but this one we do. So they ran away. They said we don't want none. The western, yeah, bye-bye destroyers. They lost all 4 destroyers there. Still not worth the loss of the one light carrier. Really, Japan cannot afford at all to lose carriers. Period, light or not. Especially when the Americans aren't losing any carriers of their own. Okay, so we've been attacked here. All right. Um, so it's a garrison unit. That's not a big deal. But it could be a big deal. So let's do this. You're going that way. You're going that way. You're going to come back and do like that. Cruiser fire control. 43 techs, we'll drop that off. We got naval combat. That's out the eastern portion of my islands. Subs are back again. There were 16 that came in, or 18, something like that. We sank 6. Now 8 are back. We actually watched this. This should be pretty fun. My torpedo boats are pretty good against subs. Yep, sank 4. And you saw, we didn't take any losses to speak of. Minor strength hit, minor org hit, but yeah. Torpedo boats, and even motor torpedo boats too, are good against subs. Destroyers as well. Destroyers are a bit expensive though to be throwing strictly against submarines. There's San Jacinto and the Bataan again against the Kaga and the Kagi. Alrighty, let's see what happens here. So our CAG versus their CAG, they are going to get thrashed. Yep. And how are we doing here? Yeah, they're running away. They're realizing they can't. It looks like the American CAGs are not as good as mine. Their tech is lower than mine. So it looks like the AI is realizing that the only hope that he has against my naval forces is when, you know what, but when they're strictly going against my non-carrier forces. Both these guys, yeah, stop doing what you're doing there. You're getting chewed up. Interception tactics. We're just gonna let that. Yeah, let that ride because that's CAG stuff. It's even though it's 42 tech, it's all right. Yeah, so that's my subs. There's the Below Woods made its way back towards Hawaii. The Below Woods was involved in the conflict over here. We got stuff going on. Pay attention, Tom. That's also against my subs. Not a big deal. Don't care. San Jacinto. Where'd the Bataan go? Ah, that's where the Bataan went, Tom. Yeah, I got sunk. Okay, so I feel a little bit better now. We each have lost a light carrier. That's I don't really care. I mean, when I say I don't care, it's not a battle I need to watch because it's subs and they're only out here to wreak havoc. To be quite frank, I probably should be using And I forgot to do this, but I really should be using when you send a sub. Let's say, for example, here you can tell it to go convoy raid, but you can also set its stance. And aggressive is the default. Realistically speaking, it should be passive for subs and raiders for that matter, because you don't want them engaging the enemy typically. However, there are times I've seen subs sink ships and honestly, do damage to a carrier. But I've had a fleet of my subs sink a couple of their destroyers, for example. So, yeah. Oh, we're doing that all right. And okay, we're just gonna all load up here. That's fine, and they're gonna get transported there. That way we can get them moved out quickly. Once we have some more guys come out here, then I'll transport them over there as well too. Lost all the subs. Heartbreaking, heartrending, sure, but it's okay. And on that note, we'll need to make some more subs too, but not for right now. Keep an eye on this. When do these? Okay. Gold. Gold has happened to us. I don't know why. Was it because of something we took in the Philippines? Is there a strategic resource of gold for the Philippines? There is. Aha. Was not aware of that, but okay, cool. It increases our money by 25%. As you can see there, we're making enough money. Um, I'm not too worried about that, but that's good. Air superiority tactics. We'll also let that ride as well. We'll drop this down. I see your leadership's gone up by a couple points there. We were at 77 point something. Now it's up to 80. The other Marine should be coming soon. Bad thing about auxiliary ships, they move so slow compared to landing craft. We've won the battle. Oh, that was a long going battle. And I have another one up there. It's also a long going battle. Oh my goodness. Okay, finish those up. What do we got going over here? So this is my light carrier group and a battle cruiser group against heavy cruisers. Yeah, let's watch this, see what happens. So we're, knocking a few destroyers off. Okay. I'm not going to say the tide's turning, but we're doing a little bit better overall. Yes, that light carrier group's not taking a damage. They have lost a destroyer. It didn't notify me to that. That's an Australian torpedo boat or something like that, looks like. Intriguing. All right. We'll let it ride some more here. So we're waiting. Yeah, you can see we're beginning to move pretty swiftly southward here from the north. That can't stand. So you know what? We're gonna do a spoiling attack. There we go. We won. And just kind of let that go. So we got air combat. That's in the eastern Carolinas. They have a we should win that air battle. What do we got going on here? This will be interesting. They have a couple of landing craft, which we should be able to knock out. Oh, that's a light cruiser. It's gonna get knocked out too. Medicine advance. Let's see, 47 techs. We'll remove that. We're still in 1941, so we're leaving those be because that's for my CAG. And my CAG can be as good as they can possibly be. That'd be nice. Okay, so they lost a landing craft, another light cruiser. They've lost 2 light cruisers. They've lost probably a dozen plus destroyers. But so have I. So I think at this point we can call it even overall in regards to the naval battles that we've had. However, when you look at also damaged ships, I thoroughly damaged the Saratoga and Lexington. My carriers otherwise have not sustained any major damage at all. Not even any minor damage really. Though we did lose 2 battle cruisers, so I knew that was coming. Yeah, and that guy's going to be shattering pretty soon too. But that's all right. Does he appear up here or Tokyo? Actually, I can tell you in a moment. Kwangtung. He appears up here. We're going to sit up there. Have a second headquarter unit that may also be breaking soon. We'll see. If he does, he'll end up in the same place, but then I can transport him back down. It was a gamble pushing the Marine headquarter units in because I knew support that attack there because I knew they wouldn't be. They're not as strong. I only had one Marine available that could make the landing there, so I loaded up with headquarter units, which I mean they're decent. You know, they're nothing to kind of. Well, you can sneeze at them, I guess. They're not all that great. I'll resend what I was about to say. But they do provide a little bit of oomph, I guess. But with that, now we should be knocking him out of there. Not as rapidly as I would like. Otherwise, we're doing okay. Let's see. Those are subs. We'll be sinking those, or they'll be running away pretty soon. Let's save the game real quick. It's been a week. We're almost at the end of the year. Realistically, our focus at this point here. That's taking a long time. The focus for us for our battle is strictly the Philippines right now. I do need to take a quick look up at Wake and see what's going on there. Oh, this is not boding well. I mean, it would have crashed already if there was an issue. The fact it's taking so long, it doesn't really give me much hope. Let me go ahead and pause the game at this point so we're not sitting watching a loading screen. I'm going to go ahead and do something else real quick, and then I'll come back. Alrighty, I am back. It took a while, but it finally saved properly. I think what I'm going to do here is call this video to an end, and I'll quit the game entirely. I have some background processes that may be causing some problems as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause everything at this point in time for the video, even though it's a little bit on the shorter side. Makes up for all the longer videos I've made. And then I'll be able to start the game fresh with nothing in the background. But I do appreciate everybody watching. We are actually, let me go ahead and take a quick look around, see what's going. Abyssinia, yeah, that's about, well, the British are starting to push up here, though. But yeah, it's about as bad as you can expect it there. That's just a no. Just full of no. Italy's going to be pushed out of North Africa at this rate here. The Eastern Front, you can see already. The push into here, that's all gone now. And the Russians have pushed them back up to this point here. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of units that are just not looking their best around in this area. Otherwise, I would say Russia's pushing here, but that's okay. The northern area, kind of all right too. But it looks like Russia's making some strides up in here too. Germany needs to do something about reducing Leningrad there, so they can take it because they have a ton of units surrounding Leningrad. If they could take Leningrad, that's a whole bunch of divisions that could. That's almost a full line north to south here. If you put it one division in each province, that's about how many is here surrounding Leningrad. It looks like. For ourselves, not doing too bad. We're looking pretty good in the South Philippines area. We have to make some movements. Yeah, this guy needs to kind of come back and around like so. Yeah, we'll be worried about it next episode, but nonetheless, we're making our push to get these victory point locations up north here. Yeah, we're moving along pretty steadily. The beach invasion here should be wrapping up soon, and I want to take a look. Do I have? Yes, the Congo and the higher up here, but I thought I had another. Thought it was a different unit I had going up there. Maybe not. I might have been incorrect in that assumption. I thought there was a different group that I was going to send up here and just sit off the coast of Wake Island, so that way I can move my Marines from here and have them invade. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, you can see we're actually involved in Cirrus Reed. The Enterprise. The Enterprise is over here. Okay. Okay, then. Actually, there's got to be a couple carriers there because of how many CAG are sitting in there. So yeah, there's a lot of activity going on in this area all around. We need to tamp it down and control it. And that'll be next episode. But I do appreciate everybody's patience through all this and watching. If you have any questions, comments, put them down below. Be happy to answer them for you. But otherwise, hope everybody has a great day. Take care.